They stun the world. They beat challenges and move mountains. They make a difference. They are kings and queens, celebrities and political leaders. But most importantly, they're also everyday folks just like you, master thinkers and movers. You can be one of them. Join the host, Maurice Nelson, and let's climb higher.
Hello, family, and welcome to another great episode of your favorite show, what I like to think of as your favorite show, Master Thinkers and Movers. It's another day to put on the thinking caps. We are going to think today, and we are going to hopefully get you to move a little bit more than you are moving right now. This is Maurice Nelson, your sister, your friend, your collaborator, and we are here today by the grace of God. We made it through another week. I hope you guys all had a wonderful Thanksgiving. And I am super excited today because we are starting not only on a new day on Thursdays now, but we also are extending our show. The Lord has made it possible, and the radio station has made it possible for us to increase our time to an hour. And so just more time for us to have fun together on Master Thinkers and Movers. Today we have a great show for you, but first, let me remind you that this show is brought to you by the wonderful folks at Samaritan Global Outreach, where we never grow tired of doing good. We are also coming to you due to the help of C&J One Stop Services, Maurice Nelson Consulting, another company that is in the Central Florida region, to help you with all your professional needs. And if you need information on any one of those organizations, the first being a nonprofit organization, the second being a for-profit organization, you can call us at the same number, 321-804-8044. You can also send us an email, real easy, at info@choosenelson.com. info@choosenelson.com. Real easy, right? Choose, CHOOSE, Nelson, NELSON. So info@choosenelson.com. Now, we're always on the lookout for great movers and shakers in our communities. And we are also always looking for great sponsors. So if you are a business and you'd like for us to, to share the word about what you provide to the community, if you have something great, like the folks that you're going to be hearing from in just a little bit, from STEAMid, or if you're a mover and shaker in our community, we would love to hear from you. So send us an email at info@choosenelson.com. Welcome, everybody, wherever you may be. Welcome. Thank you for choosing to be with us tonight. We know you could have been anywhere in the world, but you chose to be with us, and so we are grateful. As you know, this show, Master Thinkers and Movers, is about all of us, really. It's about us learning to think in a very wise way, in a very smart way, and then taking those thoughts and eventually turning them into action as we move, as we do that thing that we feel compelled to do. And it's also about learning about what other people are doing and sharing the good things that we hear and so forth. So today we want you to be prepared because you're about to be motivated. We have a couple coming up in a little bit, Rose and Rudolph ST-PIERRE, and they are going to tell us about this STEAMid project that they have been working on that is now out and is able to bless all of you who are listening to me today at this moment. And you're going to be very proud of them. They're Harvard University researchers, and Rose is a nurse, and just people who make us proud of Caribbean descent. And they are some of the people that we are very proud of. And I want you to be proud of them. So just listen on, and we are going to have a good time with them in a little bit. But first, we've got to give praise. We got to go to the Lord in prayer. And we got to thank God for being who He is in our lives. And we got to tell Him that He needs to be here with us during this hour that we're doing this show, because in His absence, we can't get much done. So why don't you just gather together with me, gather your thoughts together, think about good things, and let's go to the Lord in prayer. Father God Almighty, how we thank you today. I just praise your name for what you've done for me, individually speaking. And I thank you for what you've done for all of the people who are listening right now. I thank you for this show. I thank you for this platform. I thank you, Father God, for our guests who are coming on later on. And I thank you for guiding us and directing us in the way that we need to go. I thank you for Caribbean Rhythms Radio Network. And I thank you, Father God, for this, the content of this program and where we want the people to go and how we want them to feel motivated, how we want them to know that there are good things going on out there, that there are good things that they themselves can produce, can invent. And so, Father, I ask you to be with us during this hour. Please lead us where you want us to go. And I pray that not one person who came here to listen to us tonight will leave without something that they will feel compelled to share with somebody else or to act upon. We thank you and we praise you in the precious name of Jesus Christ, your Son. Amen. So, we all like music. We're all from the Caribbean. We like to groove. Christians groove too, David danced. Don't feel any kind of way about dancing. If you want to, get your little move on, you can get up and do that. Yes. And God will love you for it. So we like our little zouk every now and then. Me especially, I love zouk. I love compa. That's from the island of Haiti. And I love Jamaica. I love my reggae. I love my calypso. I love all of it. We are such a great, how can I say it? We're just such, culturally speaking, we are so beautiful. And I want you to feel proud of yourself. I want you to know that you're awesome. I want you to remember it because I know you know it, but I want you to remember how awesome you are. And today we're going to start actually by talking a little bit. Now that we have more time, we can actually talk some more. I want to talk about encouragement. If you remember in the Bible, Barnabas, and you can look it up yourself. Just go and Google Barnabas and Paul, the relationship that those two guys had with one another. And just in a general sense, I'll talk about them to just make a point at the end. Barnabas actually, was the guy at some point. Remember the Apostle Paul, before he became this great guy that wrote such a big portion of the Bible and, who we've grown to love, he was one that was persecuting the church, persecuting people of God. Now, granted, he thought he was doing the right thing. Because he thought, with Jesus coming, it was a new thing. It was a new way that wasn't in line with what he knew, as a person of God growing up in terms of what he learned. But he had to come to this point, right, where on the road to Damascus, where he was just struck down and he was blind. And it was that encounter with Jesus, with God, that got him to eventually turn his ways and start to appreciate this new gospel that was being preached. And he became, as you know, like the loudest or one of the loudest preachers of this gospel eventually. But before that, Barnabas was known in his circle and, people respected him because he was an encourager. So when Paul was first starting in his ministry, people didn't trust him because you know what? You were persecuting us and now ain't nobody going to try to listen to you. So it was Barnabas who took him under his wings, and it was Barnabas who introduced him, to all these different brothers and all these different churches and so forth. Barnabas was kind of like the icebreaker, to say, yeah, okay, I know his background is a little shady, but you know what? He's good now. He's good people now. You guys can welcome him in. Just listen to him. Just listen to what he has to say, and you will come to appreciate him. And that's exactly what happened. So Barnabas was the encourager to Paul. Barnabas was the teacher to Paul. Barnabas was the guy to Paul. But eventually, Paul ended up surpassing Barnabas. right? And you get to a point in the Bible where you no longer heard about Barnabas anymore, and it all became about the Apostle Paul. But Barnabas, as a great encourager, you can say was a very big reason that the Apostle Paul had the kind of success that he had. Now, of course, you're going to give God his place first, but Barnabas played an important role. And today, this is what I would like to share with my Caribbean folks. A lot of times we realize, or we notice, we witness how one group of people will not be an encouragement to another group. Sometimes it's because we're afraid. I don't know, we're maybe jealous. Maybe we think if we help somebody, they're going to find their way and we're still going to be in the dark. Barnabas never worried about that. I saw something, I don't remember exactly how it was phrased, but it was something about a sister should always straighten another sister's crown. You know, you don't have to be afraid to straighten your sister's crown because her being tight and together does not in any way demean you. It doesn't in any way stop you from going, where you need to go. And so encouraging somebody, making a way for somebody, including somebody in something that you're doing is not in any way going to put any darkness on your path. On the contrary, it's going to help you be who you are. Not everybody was made to be in the limelight. And this is another thing that we don't consider sometimes. Not everybody was made to do a particular thing. Sometimes your job is just to be a conduit or to be a vessel through which that thing happens or through which that person now is able to stand. Sometimes that's your role. And a lot of us don't like to appreciate that supporting role. There's a thing in writing that's called ghostwriting, where somebody can have a hot book to write. And a lot of these actors, that's what they do. When you hear so-and-so wrote a book, they didn't write the book. Somebody else wrote the book, and it's perfectly legal. Somebody else wrote the book for them. They told them the story, but it's somebody else that put the book together, the grammar, the words, everything. It's somebody else. And that person is called a ghostwriter. That person gets no mention whatsoever. That person is completely in the background. But you know what? They make their money. They sure do. But wherever the person goes with the book, it's the person, its name that's on the book. That's the person that everybody sees, but nobody sees the ghostwriter. Sometimes our job is to be ghostwriters, and our job is to do it as well as possible to make sure that we get paid, however you define the word paid, and, in your blessings and so forth, and also to make sure that you produce something that is absolutely wonderful, that's going to go ahead and bless other people, even if your name is never mentioned. Not everybody can take that. A lot of people have trouble not seeing their names in the limelight. And sometimes you're just meant to be a Barnabas. You're meant to be a ghostwriter. You're meant to be an encourager. And there's nothing wrong with that. It doesn't make your value any less. As a matter of fact, you are actually the foundation on which a lot of people are standing. So you are called to be stronger. You play a very important role. So by way of encouragement, I'd like to tell you, if you want to be a master at anything that you're doing, if you want to be a great mover, you have to understand that one principle. In some situations, you might be the one shining, but in other situations, you may be called to be a ghostwriter. We're going to take a break, and like I said, hang on. STEAMid representatives will be with you in just a little while. We're going to have a great interview with them, and we're also going to talk to them a little bit about encouragement. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Are you a high school, college, graduate, or postdoc student who's looking for academic opportunities such as internships, scholarships, or fellowships? Do you find it difficult, better yet confusing, when surfing the web to look for these opportunities? Well, look no further. STEAMid is the solution. STEAMid simplifies the discovery of internships, scholarships, and fellowships. And it's free. Look for your academic opportunities today at mysteamid.org Visit us on oursteamid.org or follow us on all social media platforms for updates.
We are back on Master Thinkers and Movers. Again, thank you guys for being with us today. And like I promised you, we have a wonderful couple who's joining us today. You're going to fall in love with them. They are Rose and Rudolph ST-PIERRE, and we are just so happy to have them with us today. You're going to be blown away by what they have to share with you. So with that, I want to say hello, a big Master Thinkers and Movers hello to Mr. Rudolph and Miss Rose ST-PIERRE. Hi.
Hi. Thank you. First of all, thank you so much for having us. We truly appreciate your willingness to let us speak to your audience.
We do. And part of it is, this is exciting for us. And I also want to let the audience know this is our first. So we're just, happy to be here and happy to share what we know with y'all.
It is an absolute pleasure. And yes, it's your first time with us, and we're very, very happy. And we are just so excited for you to be with us. So, Rose and Rudolph, we know you guys are busy promoting this thing all over the place, and everybody's calling on you. They're wanting to know what this thing is that you guys have put together. STEAMid is the name of the product. But before we get into what STEAMid is, I just want to ask you a little bit. Tell us a little bit about you. Who is Rose? Who is Rudolph?
Rose is a nurse, a brand new nurse. I've been a nurse for a year. I'm a wife and a mother. So, and the goal is we're just trying to make a difference in the life of, every single life we touch, make a difference in people's life in general.
Sure. On my end, a husband and a father, as well as a son. And I just hope that the work that we're doing will make a difference in the life of many.
Now, let me tell you before we continue what I love about you guys. You guys are like goofballs. I love you for that.
By the way, you should see us. We're laughing to each other.
And, just for everybody who's out there who's thinking that, marriages don't last. This is a sidebar, by the way. People who are thinking, the worst of marriages, every marriage ends up in divorce. I just want to tell you guys, Ru, and may I call you Ru? I know she calls you Ru. Okay.
That's what people call him.
Wonderful.
When you say Rudolph, I'm like, who are you talking to?
Okay, I like Ru. So Ru and Rose are a happy married couple, and they respect each other. They love each other. And let me tell you, I feed off of that energy. And I think a lot of that is going into, the kind of work that you guys produce together, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, we've been together we've known each other for over 10 years. We've been together for 10, right? So it's nothing new to us. We've done a lot of stuff together that has worked. We've done a ton of stuff together that hasn't worked. Right? So we sort of know how to get things done together.
Amen. I love that. And I have to say that there's a little Gambino. We're not going to say his name. He's too little, but we love him as well. And as your little blessing, we just pray that all these things that you're doing, that he's like a sponge, just absorbing all of that and being proud of mom and dad.
Oh, my God. I mean, he not only he is proud of us, but he thinks he's working as part of the So
Amen.
Whenever we work at STEAMid, he's like, oh, this is STEAMid? Well, Daddy, what do you want me to do?
He's very excited about it. The minute we're working on something here, we just told him that we have a meeting, and he knew what to do. He knew that he had to go to his room, and he'll be like, oh, Mommy, you're going to be working on STEAMid. Okay, you're going to be busy then.
That's wonderful. And that's how it should be. Your kids should be an active part, an active participant, in the things that you do. But you know what? I'm so blessed today, you guys, that we have all this time, because otherwise we wouldn't have this week. This week, we've gone to 1 hour. And so that means we can take our time, because we want to get right into it. There's a lot to be said. So we know who Rose is. We know who Rudolph is. What exactly is STEAMid? And let me spell it for them. It's steam, like when you're boiling something and steam comes out of it, steam and then ID at the end. So can you tell us what that is and how it came to be?
Yeah, definitely. I can start. So STEAMid itself is an educational technology nonprofit platform that curates and recommends internships, scholarships, fellowships to students. And the word STEAM itself has a very specific meaning. in the scientific community, STEAM is defined as science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. So it's a umbrella term for a number of disciplines that are super important in college as well as in your career. And overall, broadly speaking, we serve a number of populations. So when we say students, we're also referring to high school, undergraduate, and by undergraduate we mean college, all college students, post-bac students, meaning students that have already graduated from college, graduate students, as well as postgraduate students. So there are a number of sort of students, ish that are served under this effort.
Okay. So when you say, Ru, I'm going to go back. You gave the definition as you told us that it curates and it did something else and it did. Look, I ain't that smart.
I hear you. So when I say curate and recommend, so one thing that I want people to think of Netflix and Spotify. Mm-hmm. So what does Netflix and Spotify do? They make a list, right, of movies or music that they recommend to you. Mm-hmm. And the way they do that recommendation is based on your behavior on the app or right on the tool that you're using. Mm-hmm. So if there are anyone else out there that say look and behave like Marie's on Spotify mm-hmm. or on Netflix, they will recommend the exact same movies or music to you. So this is what we do as well with STEAMid. So yes, it's a list, but we're actively working on the back end to recommend academic resources to you based on your profile and based on your own behavior on the app, as well as the behavior of other people that look like you.
Ooh, now you're talking, brother. Now you're talking to me. Okay. So let me get my sister in on this thing now. So this is a platform, right, that anybody who's got a telephone, who's got a tablet, who's got a computer, whatever, any electronic device, you can access it. And it's for students. It's for everybody who has a relationship with school. You go to school, you got to pay for school. You got to find a way to pay for school. So this is a platform that helps us. Man, I wish I had this when I was going to school. It helps you find scholarships, internships, fellowships, the whole 9 yards to help pay for your school. Now, Rose, who are you particularly trying to target, like right now, at the phase that you're at right now?
Right now, we're trying to target the students and also the educators, mm-hmm. Because we're doing this mostly for the students. Of course, we're serving the parents and everybody else, like whoever wants access to the platform. But we are targeting the students because we have a bunch of opportunities for them. As a high school, and that's why we're not only focusing on like one level, like if you're a high schooler, you're a college student, you in graduate school and you're done with graduating, you're done with grad school and you can still access the platform. So the reason being is the big goal of STEAMid is to have this tool in the hand of every student so they can access these academic resources and to help them thrive in the field of STEAM. Because I would say that STEAM makes like 99.9% of the whole major thing in education.
Wow. Yeah, it absolutely. So tell me what STEAM stands for again. Science,
technology, engineering, mm-hmm. arts, and mathematics.
Okay. So anybody who's interested in those, in those fields, mm-hmm. they come on, they sign on to STEAMid, which is the mm-hmm. electronic platform, and they will find a bunch of offers, right, by way of scholarships, by way of fellowships, and any other kind of money that's out there for them to help them pay for their school, right?
Exactly. As a high schooler, you want to think about college, and you can go on the scholarship tab and apply for, especially for economically disadvantaged students, mm-hmm. Because there are like a bunch of foundations and also as grants. Mm-hmm. They are competitive. Some of them ask your parents has to make certain type of income, and some of them ask for grades. As long as you go in there, you just have to apply.
Okay.
You don't know what's gonna happen. You just have to apply, and a lot of time, like, kids are worried about money and they don't know what's out there. So that's the goal of STEAMid. We want to offer this platform so kids can go and apply, and we'll see what's going to happen from there. And we will serve these kids from high school till, like, even if they're thinking down the line of having a PhD or go to med school, we will still be with them. Like, STEAMid will still be that platform they can go to whenever they think about academic resources.
That's what I was going to say, because, I remember when I was in high school, from the 10th grade, they started, well, actually from the 9th grade, they were pushing us to start looking, because it was so hard back then to identify where these things were, who was offering you $2,500 here and there. And then you had to do so much work, to find the ones that were in the line of study that you were interested in, and so forth. And so this, from the 10th grade, these kids can start looking into STEAMid, right? As early as possible.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We're actually working on also adding to beefing up the opportunities for the high school students. So the majority of the stuff we have for high school students starts at grade 10. Okay. But we do know that there are additional opportunities that starts at grade 9, right? So the earlier you start, the better it is. And part of it is, this thing is a muscle, right? The earlier you start, the easier it becomes down the line, right? Because say you have an internship in high school, all of a sudden it makes you super competitive for a scholarship, right? Say you have a scholarship, when you're applying to college, then the college will look at you and say, oh, wow, this kid has a scholarship, and this kid also did an internship, and they're not even 18 yet. Wow. We want this kid in our school.
Okay. So we're going to take a break in a little bit, but let me just sum up this session just a little bit. So with STEAMid, and guys, we are talking to you. This is Master Thinkers and Movers. If you can't see the thinking and the moving part in STEAMid, then I don't know what to do for you. I'm closing up shop and I'm going home, because this. But this is the best. This is what this show is about. It's promoting things that are good in our communities. It's promoting people who are thinking at that level, to just make our lives a lot easier. And so this is what I tell you guys all the time, people in Radio Land, or our beautiful listeners. I tell you all the time that, the people we revere a lot of time and we big them up are the people that we see on television, the superstars, but right among us are people who are doing great things. And Rose, you guys thought of this, and you guys made this happen, right?
That is correct. We've been at it since 2012.
Yeah.
All right.
Since 2012, and we had our failures at this time.
Of course. And we are super proud of you. Ladies and gentlemen, listen, if you're listening to us right now, we're going to be with you until the top of the hour. So do me a favor, pick up your phone. Listen, I always tell you, anything that you hear about, that you see that is good, that is helpful to somebody, call them. Tell them to tune in to Caribbean Rhythms radio station right now. You know what to tell them to put into their system. You're listening right now. Tell them to tune in right now. And if they cannot tune in, take down the information. Stay tuned. We will have that for you in a little bit. Take down the information so that you can help them. Listen, some of you might be saying, well, I don't have any kids and I don't have any plans of going to school. You may not, but you know what? If you're a child of God, if you're an active and a responsible member of our society, it takes a village, right? Every kid is our responsibility. So your little nephew, your little cousin, the little girl you see at church, or even the older person who's returning to school, as long as they are going to school, they're trying to further their career, whatever it is, they're trying to learn something new, throw this information at them, all right? And on top of that, ladies and gentlemen, you ready? Harvard is behind this thing. These kids, they're not just any kids just around the block. They are Harvard researchers. Harvard, the Harvard. So come back in just a few seconds, all right? Rue and Rose, you hold on. I'm having trouble saying Rue and Rose. Maybe I'll say Rose.
Oh, my goodness. That's how we call ourselves.
Oh, God, I'm sick. I'm sick of you. Stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back. You're listening to the Caribbean Rhythms Radio Network, and this is Master Thinkers and Movers. Hang on. Samarita Global Outreach. Let's never grow tired of doing good. We are a 501c3 nonprofit organization based in the United States, but having a worldwide outreach. We exist for the sole purpose of doing good. We promote the gospel of Jesus Christ while providing humanitarian aid or relief to those in need. From our youth Super Champ program to Femme Cajou for the ladies and Samaritan for Christ, our mission ministry, and many other programs and activities, there is something for everyone. You can email us at info@choosenelson.com or at mysamarita@gmail.com or contact us at 407-346-1590. That's 407-346-1590. We're also on all social media platforms, and you can visit our website at mysamarita.com. Listen, the harvest is plentiful. Samarita Global Outreach, let's never grow tired of doing good. Thank you so much for your support. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. This is Maurice Nelson with Master Thinkers and Movers, and today we are joined by a very special couple who we just decided we're going to call Roos.
We love it.
Rose and Ruth St. Pierre, and they are the proud inventors, creators, developers of a beautiful electronic platform named STEAMid, which we learned a little bit about. So if you're just joining us, this is who we're talking to. And we, right before going to break, we let the audience know that these guys were Harvard students and researchers. So I want you to tell us a little bit, those of us who've never set foot or who would never have an opportunity to step foot in Harvard. Tell us a little bit about how Harvard is involved, first of all.
Yeah, sure. So I am currently a graduate student at Harvard, and I am studying a field or a subfield, if you will, called chemical biology, or the art of finding drugs against a target that's involved in a disease of any kind. And in order to make the platform, we had to raise funding to pay for it. And the beautiful thing is Harvard offer a ton of money where you can pitch your idea, right, in a competitive manner. So you go there are a group of students, and you tell them about your idea. And if they believe in the idea, if they think the idea has any weight, they'll invest a little bit of money in you. So this is how we started STEAMid. We pitched the entire idea itself, STEAMid, at Harvard. It's a competitive process, so there are a number of people that that participate, and they believe in the idea, and they give us the fund to start this. So, yeah, it started with money that Harvard gave us to make this a reality.
Oh, okay. So you said, I heard you say, well, Harvard gave a ton of money. I thought it was to you, and then I'm listening, and you're like, no, they kind of pulled a ton of money together.
No, I hear. No. So just to correct this. So, every year, Harvard hold these competitions within the school. So those aren't available to the public. They're only available to kids that go to school there. And if you have an idea, they'll say, bring the idea to us. We'll, explore it. We'll see what if it has any legs. And if we believe in it, we'll give you the funds. So now Harvard will give you the money, but they don't only give you money. They also give you a mentor, right, to help guide you. So we're not doing this alone, right? We're doing this with a group of people that are telling us, hey, this is how you approach this is how you do this, and this is the tools that you have to use to succeed. So we do have a ton of support on that end.
That's wonderful, and to know that they're all, of that caliber. I'm going to take a little detour because we have to put this in there, because as you're talking, Ru, I'm thinking about our slaves. We're all Caribbean, people of Caribbean descent, and I'm thinking of our slaves. I'm thinking of men and women who had to hide, at night with a little, with a little lamp or whatever it was, just to be able to learn ABC. And every time I talk to you guys, I can't help but think about them. And it's not necessarily because you go to Harvard, because everybody who goes to school, everybody who understands the importance of education and they seek it and they go after it, I think they're great winners. But when you hear of an institution like Harvard that is supposed to be so difficult to get into, and one that wasn't initially open for folks like us, it's like it's the ultimate dream, for a mom or a dad in terms of thinking back where we've come from. And I just wanted you to tell the audience, basically let them know who you are so they don't think you're some big shot, that you were born with a silver spoon in your mouth. Let them know, where you're from originally, and maybe a little bit of how you ended up at Harvard University.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I want to sort of dispel that, myth, if you will, that only people that have money, that are rich, can get into Harvard. That's not true at all. I'll tell you, a little bit about my background. I mean, I was born and raised in Haiti. I came to this country. I was 17. I did my last year of high school here in Boston, and I mean, my mom and I, when we came over, we did not have any money. We lived with family members for 5 years, right? It was tough for us just to get in and to get, sort of like, uh, to even get accustomed to the culture. That was, that was hard for us as well. And for my undergrad, so I want people to understand that I'm at Harvard. I'm in graduate school, so I'm pursuing a doctorate or a PhD. But I did my bachelor's at UMass Boston, which is a state school. And at the time that I did my bachelor's, like, we did not have any what you call in the Haitian, we didn't have our papers, if you will, right? So we had to pay UMass Boston out of pocket. Like, I worked in the kitchen of Brigham Women's Hospital for 5 years, just like, so I could contribute money to the household so we could survive.
Wow.
So none of this is like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, it's part of the story. And it's a story I'm really proud of, and I talk about it all the time. And it got me to where I am today.
Amen.
So,
I love that. And what I'm hearing as you're speaking, as Rose is speaking, is that it doesn't matter, a young person who's listening now, or a parent, who may not have it, who may be working in a restaurant to try and come up with the money to send their kids to school. Because I know when I was applying for school, I would have never considered Harvard because, you think it's impossible. You just think it's impossible. So you wanna put an end to that, right?
I mean, definitely. I mean, part of it is someone else had to tell me I could apply to Harvard too, right? I didn't know that Harvard was possible for me.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah, and I want to pitch in to because I know a lot about this story. Who was an international student for the longest time. Actually would have got into Harvard as an international student.
An international student is a student who has to pay out of pocket because, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So the way it's described, like for a PhD, if you get into a school as an international student, you get a stipend. So the government will pay you money if you're doing a doctorate.
Okay.
But for the undergrad, right, when I was at UMass Boston as an international student, I had to pay out of pocket.
Wow.
Yeah. Because as an international student, as an undergrad, you're not eligible for any financial aid to say like any type of loan that is related to like federal subsidized and unsubsidized loan, any Pell Grant, you're not eligible for anything like that. But as a PhD student, because you're doing your doctorate, actually the school pay for your tuition, and then they still have money to give you a stipend, because as a researcher, you can't work because you have to focus all your time in your research. Okay. So you can't take another job. So that's why they give you a monthly stipend so you can, pay for your other expenses, living related expenses, so you can survive while you in school, so you can focus all your time to your research. But as an undergrad, you have to pay out of pocket because you're not eligible for even loans unless you're taking a private loan. Depends on who's gonna give it to you, because a lot of them you need to be a green card holder, or you need to be a U.S. citizen. And also who apply for all those like scholarship. While he was working at Brigham too, they were like, there's little scholarship where they give you $1,000, $2,000. So he won a few of that, which helped him pay for school while he was an undergrad at UMass Boston.
Okay, so if you don't have your green card, it's hard, but it's not impossible.
Exactly. It's not impossible. I mean, I can't tell you how many people I tell this, and often they don't believe us. But that's what happened to me. You know what I mean? Wow.
This is going to go far. This is really going to go far. And I'm so glad you said that, because we want you guys, who are listening out there. Again, the people who master things, he didn't have his papers. He's being very transparent and saying this on the world stage. Everywhere he goes for interviews, he lets people know that. And it's for your benefit to know that there are so many things we can reach for, and we just have to think. We have to think masterfully, and you have to move, because look, this is another thing that I'm getting from this conversation is that you got to bring the goods. You can't just show up to Harvard and be like, yo, I'm trying to go to your school, right, Rue? You got to bring the goods.
Of course. We're happy to share with them too. I mean, this is another thing. It's a blessing to be at Harvard, but it's a mixed blessing, right? Because people will have the impression that oh, he was destined to be there. He had all the tools ready for him. No, like I had to fight for it, and Rose had to help me fight for it as well when I told her this was my dream. You see what I'm trying to say? So we did this together.
Wonderful. Well, this we had to put in, and so all of our people out there, whether you're from Jamaica, you're from Trinidad, you're from Haiti, wherever in the islands you're listening to this on Caribbean Rhythms, look, it is possible for you. It is possible for your children. It is possible. And if you need information, you can always, reach out and we'll let you know where to get it. So the product today is STEAMid. We're going to come back to STEAMid. And we know that there are...
Can I say one thing? I'm sorry.
Sure. Of course.
So we ourselves, we don't refer to it as a product because it makes it feel like we're selling something.
Yeah.
So we always refer to it as a platform.
A platform.
Beautiful.
Because it's true. We're not going to ask people for money because we have all the money in the world to do this up here in Boston.
Yeah, we can apply for many
grants.
That's why we make that a non-profit, not for-profit, because we want this to be free to students. We don't want students to pay for information. So it used to get us frustrated while I was an undergrad. I was looking for scholarship, and it used to make me frustrated when I had to sign up and pay a monthly fee just to get information, not even applying. So it used to get me really frustrated. It's like the experience that made us, think about like other ways that we can serve other students so that they don't have to go to the same frustration that we went to.
All right, that is one major point, and I do stand corrected, my brother. Listen.
Sorry.
Oh my goodness!
Because that way people don't feel like we're selling them stuff.
Oh no, it's a very important point. Yeah, and it bears repeating that you guys listening out there, you will not pay a dime, to get this information. They've done all the hard work. Once you go into the platform, you'll see that they've done all the hard work of putting together, possible lines of internships and scholarships for you. And I love that whole idea because I kind of like my Netflix once it, I don't have time to watch it like I'd like, but I kind of like that they make recommendations. Or when you go on YouTube, you see all these different things popping up. I'm like, okay, I didn't order that, but they study you and they look at your ways, as you use the platform, and they can make great recommendations to you, which saves you a lot of time and energy. Oh my gosh, and all that for free. We are going to take another break, you guys, and we're going to come right back. This is such a great conversation. I'm leaving you this session, with the thought, think about this during the commercial break, that it doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter where you're sitting. It doesn't matter how things look. It doesn't matter what your present situation is telling you. We want you to hear. The Bible says that understanding comes through hearing, not seeing. All right. So don't look around you and think that you're done, that you can't apply to Harvard, that you can't find that scholarship, that you can't go to school. But hear what's happening today. Hear from Rue and Rose. They're telling you that it's possible. And when they come back, Rose is going to tell us how somebody who is in that situation, who's sitting there not knowing, what they're going to do, how STEAMid can further help them. Stay tuned. Peace of mind. That's what you deserve. And that's why you need to call C&J One Stop Services, Maurice Nelson Consulting, for your income tax, immigration, credit repair, and a wide range of other professional services. We also specialize in writing and editing, so don't sweat over that speech or make costly mistakes in your promotional material. No, call us 321-804-8044. We're located in beautiful downtown Orlando. The number again, 321-804-8044. C&J One Stop Services, Maurice Nelson Consulting. You get our best every time. Welcome back to Master Thinkers and Movers with your girl, Maurice Nelson. I am here with Rose and Rue ST-PIERRE, Rue for Rudolph. They are Harvard researchers who have come up with a wonderful platform to help us all go to school and find a way to pay for it. And because time is just running away from us, we're going to go right into where we left off. And I'm going to ask you, Rose, to talk a little bit about people who might be giving up right now. What can STEAMid do for them?
So STEAMid is a platform. I want to stress this out. The platform is free for anybody. Any student who accesses the platform will get the opportunities for free. They just have to sign up if they want to make a profile so we can recommend stuff to them. When they make a profile, they put their interest, they put their name, their major, the school that they are currently in. And we can recommend stuff for them based on their interests in profile, whatever they put in their profile. Mm-hmm. So we are being funded by Harvard. It's a nonprofit company. And based on my live experience, every time that I used to make a broad Google search to like look for scholarship or internship or a fellowship, like the information is like so confusing, it's difficult, it's scattered, and you can never, there are so many other things that you have to sign up for, you had to pay for it. So we want students to get this information for free. Mm-hmm. And I've met with so many people too who come here, who first come here. They went to high school, and they're so worried about, I'm not sure that I should go to college because it's so expensive. I don't want to take loans. I just want to work and make money. There are so many opportunities out there. There are like so much money, so many foundations who like giving money to students to get a higher degree, to get a 4-year. And if you want to go to community college, there is something there for you. If you want to go to technical school, there is something at STEAMid in the platform for you. There is money out there to pay for school. You just have to apply. Do not give up. You just have to apply because there is the resource. That's why we created this resources, because we went through that and we don't want other students to suffer. Mm-hmm. So that's why we create that all-in-one. Only that platform as internship, scholarship, and fellowship, where you have everything you can access. It doesn't matter which academic level you are. You can go on STEAMid and apply.
Mm-hmm. Now this is because you guys are in Boston, people might think, well, look, okay, maybe this just covers the area of Boston.
We cover everywhere because we have opportunities from everywhere, not only in Massachusetts.
Mm-hmm. So I'm going to school in Florida, I can use STEAMid.
Yes, if you go in Florida, if you're in Georgia, if you are in Alabama, if you are Texas, California, anywhere you are, so you can use the platform.
I'm going to chime in and say it's not just every single state in the United States of America. It's also the territories as well, right? It's Puerto Rico, it's Guam, it's Hawaii. It's, and there are certain opportunities that are global, like like the Fulbright, for instance, is something that's in England, but anyone throughout the world can apply to them. So we also put those on the platform as well, right? There are Haitian kids that are applying to these, opportunities that are from Haiti. Like they're not in the U.S. They are in Haiti applying for things that are in England, right? It's available as well to them.
That's right? Fantastic.
Yeah. Also, there are like national scholarships that there are kids that are currently in Haiti that can apply and then come in here and study.
That's wonderful.
We have national scholarship as well.
So, and then when you say Haiti, you also mean Jamaica, you also mean Trinidad, et cetera, right?
Caribbean. You can apply and then you get money as long as you get accepted.
Yeah, one thing also, it's competitive. So remember, you're not the only one applying. So you have to put your best foot forward when you're applying for these things. And that's fair, right? Because it's a global pool. You're not only competing against the kids that's in your class, you're also competing against the kids that's in a class in the US, in Europe, in Africa.
Yeah.
Of course. And, I got to say this because, with our organization, Samarita, we help sponsor some kids, in Haiti to go to school. And you see the conditions. Oh, my goodness. But the kids show up to school every day. And what motivates me to continue to push for them, they get good grades. And not only that, you're like, if they can show up under those circumstances, then I got to show up. I got to show up and do something for them to help them. And these kids get, they get great grades. And I always tell them, we call the program Super Champ because we want them to know that they're champs from the onset. And I always say to them, right there in that little schoolroom where the floor may be terrible to look at, there's a little Obama sitting there. They just need the opportunity. And so I'm so happy to hear, that this is also open to a great kid like that,
Yeah,
of course.
And the way we created the platform too, like thinking like before we created it, you can't find the app on App Store or Google Play, because when we were creating it, the way we think about it, not everyone can afford an iPhone or Samsung or an Android phone. So we thought about like creating something that people can actually download it on their screen and can readily have access to that. They don't have to go to App Store or Google Play to like find it.
Wonderful. Well, we're going to go right into the vision and the mission. You do that for us. And then I want to spend the rest of the, maybe 5 minutes that we have left talking about how these people can access you. What do you need them to do? How can they find STEAMid?
Yeah, definitely. So we have a very broad and inclusive goal in that we want to access everyone. So we ourselves, Rose and I, we believe in a world where academic resources are ubiquitous and free. Okay? We believe every student should have access to opportunities that open doors to a meaningful and purpose-driven life. And most importantly, we strongly believe that STEAMid will usher in that future.
Amen.
And in that belief, we want to help every student achieve their scholarly goals, their scholarly success, whatever career that you want to do. But we want to help simplify the process for you by recommending those academic resources. They're freely available. It will require that you work and that you apply. You will excel.
I think any kid, anybody who's wanting to go to school and they're worried about how they're going to pay for it, they're willing to work. I can bet they're willing to work. So tell us, how do they access STEAMid?
Progressive web app. It's an app that behaves like a web. To access STEAMid, you can make a Google. If you go on Google right now, you make a Google search, you won't find us. So you go on mysteamid.org. and you can download the app on your phone. Okay.
So let me spell it out for them. It's mysteamid.org, you guys. My, STEAM, STEAM, like, steam coming out of hot water. ID, mysteamid.org. Okay, sweetheart.
Mm-hmm. And we also have our website. So the website is oursteamid.org. And if you go on the website, you will find information. You'll find more details about STEAMid, our vision, mission, everything is in there, and how to install the app on your phone too.
Wonderful. And if they have any questions, is there a place on there that they can forward questions to you guys?
Yes. In the website, there is a contact form where they can just send us a message, and you'll go directly to our email, and we will try to reply to them as soon as we can.
Wonderful. And also, I noticed there's a place for testimonials also. And I would tell people, parents, if you've been struggling, in this area, if you go and you look at it and you see something good about it, even before you get anything out of it, go ahead and, leave a couple of good words for these good folks and students as well. Anybody who goes and uses this platform and you start to like, what you're seeing.
That's super helpful. I can tell you, we even see this as well. When people come on the platform, the first thing they do is actually look at the testimonial. So they are basically, feeding off of what other people are saying about the platform before they start using it.
Well, I just want to say that, there are many beneficiaries to this endeavor, and I preach this all the time. I tell people this all the time, that when we encourage one another, we can go far. When we appreciate each other's work, when we validate each other, we can go far. And the work that you do may not necessarily be what I'm good at, and thank God. But if we just look, at the big picture of what everybody brings to the table, regardless of color or what country you're from, it doesn't matter if somebody from Haiti or Jamaica developed it. It's something that makes us look good. We're proud because we all come from the same place, you guys. And so I'm so thankful for you guys. I'm thankful that you guys what I know started as a mere idea, because this is the way things happen, a mere idea, and then you have the timid movements, the thinking process process. Can I do it? Will anybody care about it? Will it go anywhere? But you went through all that, navigated your way through all that, and now this is actually a thing. This is actually something that is blessing people. This is what we teach people on Master Thinkers and Movers, on Plus Haut, Plus Loin, everywhere. This is what we tell people, the power of taking an idea and turning it into something useful. I'm going to give you an opportunity for a last word. Let me tell you, it was an absolute pleasure talking to you guys today. And I know you guys are coming back, so it's
definitely.
It's a soft goodbye for now, okay?
definitely. We're here, and you know how to reach us. When we talk to you by text, like on a weekly basis, so you know how to reach us.
Exactly. So just one last word for the people. Anything you'd like to tell them?
Yeah, definitely. I want to say that if you are listening to this, you are benefiting from this. If you are listening to this and you're not a student, but you know a student, it is very likely you have someone that you know that will benefit from this. So please share the resource with them. It's mysteamid.org, mysteamid.org. It's free. It's going to be available for years to come. Our goal is to have this be a national, if not a global platform. So we're not going away.
Amen.
So please share STEAMid with your circle. And and that's what we will define our success by, is how many people can we touch.
You will touch a lot of people. And Rose, we didn't get a chance to talk about the other thing. You guys do so many other things. Rose, thank you for being an essential worker. Thank you for taking care of those sick people as a nurse, and also for doing this and raising the baby and going to school and being a wife. And
Yes.
Supergirl.
It's a wonderful thing to have a nurse right here at home, man. When I get sick, I'm telling you, it helps.
Thank you so much, Rose. Anything you'd like to leave us with, Rose, real quick?
Being a nurse, the way I think about STEAMid is just like the same way I take care of my patient. As a nurse, you need to be caring. Otherwise, you want the outcome of the patient's life. It's not going to change. You want them to go home and get better. So, and that's the same thing we want to do with education. Regardless of race, for the economically disadvantaged student, we want their academic pathway to be better. That's why STEAMid wants to guide their pathway and make those resources readily available to them. They don't have to pay a dime to get those free resources.
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, another great episode of Master Thinkers and Movers, brought to you by Samarita Global Outreach, C&J One Stop Services, and the good folks at Maurice Nelson Consulting. I want you to know that STEAMid, you can also catch them anytime you want. They are on Facebook, they are on Twitter, they are on Instagram, and they are on LinkedIn and every other social media platform. We thank you for having been with us today, and we look forward to another great week next week, where we'll have a wonderful show for you. Remember, we're on now on Thursdays, so don't look for us on Wednesdays anymore. 7 p.m. will be coming your way, and we encourage you to climb higher. Whatever it is you're doing, just sign it with excellence. Do the best that you can and climb as high as you did, like we did today on Master Thinkers and Movers. This is your friend Maurice Nelson, and this is Caribbean Rhythms Radio Network. Have yourself a wonderful week, and never miss out on the opportunity to do good. See you later. Bye-bye.